Well, good afternoon, everyone. I hope this finds you well, and hope you're enjoying the road to Wellville through the detoxification process. What a process, huh? You know, I mean, I understand why a lot of people are not all gathering at the cutting edge, but it's easy to understand what a trip this is. Fran gave me something about green and oxalates, and I'm going to address that on the oxalate side of that, because people start freaking out about the green juices now and about full of oxalates or oxalic acid. Well, oxalic acid is common amongst greens, more so though they claim in the rhubarbs and the sorrels and that sort of thing. I don't know what to say about that other than you have to understand in chemistry, plants come with a lot of factors that by themselves can be problematic, such as alkaloids. Alkaloids is very commonly known to inspire liver function. Isolate them by themselves, and then you have more serious side effects, and this is why you see them, of course, in pharmaceuticals, is when you start isolating the active principles. So I just have to say that all these acids have far-reaching effects. Oxalic acid has a lot of things. I was just Googling some of this, and I don't know where this person gets this, but all things from better sleep to reduced self-adhesive behavior, abusive behavior, increased imaginary play, improved cognizance, loss of bedwetting, loss of frequent urination, improved handwriting, improved motor skills, improved anemia, and this is all from oxalates. So it truly, really depends upon, in my opinion, when you look at chemistry, this all is in all of chemistry. Ionizes and oxidizes through the process of pH. pH is everything to how chemistry responds in solutions and how it exchanges its electrons and how it either becomes an acid or a base at any given time. And so it's just so involved that I've never felt like going back, getting all this out again, and then cutting it so it's real simple for you. I'm going to try to do as much as I can, but again, I don't want to be sucked in that world either, because these worlds suck you into them, and there's just too much uncertainty and theories where one doesn't quite understand how it all matches. I've looked at several of the theories, and we've had this discussion earlier on in terms of biochemists and their theories, from Reams to me to everyone else. So I quit having theories. I try to teach you what I've observed and what I've seen and what we do know to be factual, as much as I can. So with that said, I know a lot of people are popping a lot of green juices, and now there's another movement, of course, to inform those of the oxalates, and that getting the calcium oxalate stones, which is the common kidney stones. But you can, oxalates binds with potassium, magnesium. I mean, the chemistry can bond to other minerals. Just depends on the action and what's going on in the tissues and stuff. And that's why I say it all is involved in the pH of things. This is why I think it's so important, if you want to bring about a balance in a state of health, that you not get too trapped in this side of it, that you just eat the foods that are chemically in proportion the way God intended. Well, for your species, well, to understand that, of course, is then to look at the different species out there and determine which one the Homo sapien looks like, because I don't think in an argument that anybody could win the omnivore side of that, because you could claim the Homo sapien eats like one, but you can't say that he is one. You'd be closer if you said he was a frugivore, eating omnivorish. And we're crossing over to the greens. Now, I've never seen any horses or any animals with oxalate problems. Now, you could get that if you were high grain feeding them, and you probably could then create these oxalate stones. But you would have to be creating an acidic environment, an environment not what a wild horse would be like out in the wild. So it's just one has to put all these things in context, because when we find, it's like licorice and all these with the alkaloids in them that seem to be a little, there's common alkaloids among plants. And so it's typical that pharmaceutical companies are going to bring up the issue knowing quite well that these plants are synergistically, chemically bound, and that it's them that have the problem, not us. But, all right, I don't want to rattle on too much, so some guy accused me of, Dr. Morris says a lot of nothing sometimes, and he can talk for 15 to 20 minutes without saying one goddamn useful thing. Well, thank Lion Beats. I appreciate that comment. I really do. I hope that's not the case. I can rattle. As you get older, you can blame it on the age, can't you? Or just blame it on whatever you want to blame it on. Sorry about that, Lion Beats, that I'm not giving you everything you need. Now, this is Michelle. Michelle, I have a problem. It's called MS, a.k.a. pain in the... Yeah, I know. I like how you think already, Michelle. Now, I was left bedridden for a few months from an MS relapse, so I dumped the MS medication. Yeah, I've never seen any MS medication ever that didn't, eventually people on MS go like that. I remember I had a guy with Lou Gehrig's, and his son was taking care of him. And you might not like this, Lion Beats, because this is a little bit of a story, and I'm a little storyteller, but I try to have a point behind it. But anyway, this son took his father's money and took off, and his father had Lou Gehrig's, and we were pulling him up out of the wheelchair. He could walk a lot of the time, but he had to use the chair part of the time. So, we were moving him up out of that. So then he had to find a caregiver, and he hired an RN. Well, this RN, of course, went, oh, you got to try the new drugs for Lou Gehrig's. New drugs for Lou Gehrig's. Guess what happened to him? Yeah, I can almost pretty sure you she can chalk it up to another one killed under her watch. I mean, he died from the medication. So I thought that was pretty interesting. This is the sort of thing that's out there, and we have to get away from chemical medications. These guys are going to be in court for a lot of years yet with all these lawsuits on all these medications. I don't see how any of those people can sleep. I guess they're so wealthy they feel at arm's length and they don't have to worry about it. So I dumped the MS medication, focused on fruits, nuts, and veggies. Today, I'm about 90% back to normal. Still can't run straight, but I'm looking for perfection. Well, if you're looking for perfection, my dear, definitely move to the fruits for a while. Fruits, berries, and melons. Get yourself up on a frugivorish diet until you get all your mobility back, and then you might add the green juices to put on a little more muscle if you want more muscle, and then nuts later on when you know all the MS symptoms are all gone. Still can't run. Okay, so I attempted to buy some of your products, but since I'm in Edmonton, Canada, your shipping costs were a little extreme. They have ways to help that here to a certain degree. I don't know why here, but this is so true. Canada's costs are a lot more money. I've been to Canada several times, and they're so expensive in Canada for anything compared to what I'm used to spending. I'll put it that way. And then the customs, and they're supposed to be our friends and our neighbor, and yet they customs rape you. So I don't know what to say about it, sweetheart. There are people that come across the border and buy them and then take them across the border. So there's a lot of ways people are doing that to save on this, but we understand customs. We have customs, we deal with customs everywhere in the world. Now I wanted to show you this cool picture in Thailand we have. Well, really cool where the post office is, pretty cool stuff. This is greetings, Dr. Morris and staff. This is Ava. I was wondering if you could shed some light on worsening foot pain I have been experiencing for the past 2 years after a car accident. My primary care physician sent me to see a podiatrist, and I was told it is Achilles tendonitis, and the numbness that is rapidly moving across the top of my foot into my toes, he thinks is from diabetes. Now, he said it is what it is, and nothing can be done to repair the nerves nor the broken blood vessels, and as far as the pain goes, I can wear a boot or have some physical therapy. I wonder how'd you pay for that advice? I bet you paid anywhere from $75 to $100 for that advice. Can you please tell me if you could suggest any of your... Absolutely. Gina. Hi, Gina. Well, You know, and we talked about this before. So all you guys on Facebook, what are we going to do? What's going on with this? When you have trauma to tissue, and this is a good example here. If you have trauma to tissue, is it your blood system that cleans up the mess and heals everything and then everything's good? It isn't, is it? That brings in the goodies, there's no question. But the healing has to take place in a base chemistry environment, or at least a more base pH in the lymph. So the lymph system is the janitorial service of the human body. So that's obvious that in that particular leg, go up to that kidney, and I think that's where you're going to find your problem, is in that kidney and the adrenal glands. Get a picture of your eyes, take a look at your kidney areas and see which one. Not only the kidney, but don't forget the adrenal glands on top. So obviously when you see a situation where something isn't healing, you're not getting to it. You're not getting to it lymphatically. It isn't about blood flow. Blood flow is getting there, or you wouldn't have it there. It'd be more gangrenous. You wouldn't see too much. No, this is about lymph flow. And obviously lymph flow is not moving out of that. That's why you have the pain. The pain is a retention of acids, correct? And of course, acids deteriorate. When he says that this neuropathy is really coming from diabetes, they don't understand. They lump diabetes, and within that disease they have multiple other related factors. Well, if you throw that crap away and you start looking at the reality of diabetes, why they put a disease on a name for sugar metabolism problems, whether it's sugar metabolism with diabetes 2 and hypoglycemia, or hypo and hyperglycemia, or it's type 1. Either way, these are not diseases. They're functions of the endocrine glands and the nervous system and all these other factors we talk about all the time. So we're so used to lumping all these effects into a disease when really it's a systemic effect of acidosis. Just pure and simple, systemic effect of acidosis. Because when you see a tumor, say in a breast tissue, you have a lymphatic problem systemically, not just in the breast. This is where the immediate problem is. But I can guarantee you, if you start looking at your symptoms, you have problems head to toe in little ways that you might not be aware of, from little aches and pains to stiffness to tightness to whatever. So the real big issue there as a systemic issue. So you want to get in and get your kidneys filtering. So I like 2 kidney formulas. Now I told you I created 3 more kidney formulas, and I've designed them so 2 kidneys work with each other. So you've got a power hog of kidney power coming. And it's just getting the kidneys to operate well. You got to realize the adrenal glands, and glands control everything. So those glands are very important. And this stretches out to someone asked me here about the adrenals. And maybe when I get to that, I'll tie this in about the activity. And I think it goes something like, in exercise I feel better. Well, this is true. This is true when you're halfway filtering. When you're not filtering, though, I've said this before, I have pro athletes that are here because when they are engaged in activity, they feel worse afterwards. And that's the problem, is that it's the residual kick of non-filtration of the lymph that you start to fill the acids that you've created. And that's just what you're feeling in your foot, Gina, is these are the acids. So to repair that properly, you want to get that lymph moving, because that just shows that your lymph wasn't moving very well, and therefore you couldn't remove the trauma, the acids, and the damaged tissue. As a matter of fact, if you haven't even, surely the capillaries obviously closed off by now, but you really want to get that lymph moving. I would also do the brain and nerve number 2, really enhance that nervous system, strengthen that nervous system, but on the other side, to get the kidneys, to get the nervous system working from the appropriate ways, the adrenal glands. So you'd want to go after your adrenal glands with a glandular or an herbal formula. With that said, detox is taking consideration of the bowels, the lymph, the kidneys, the endocrine glands, specifically the adrenals, but these are the central focus always in a detoxification. You never want to forget that, because you always want to think digestion, absorption, utilization, and then elimination. Those 4 processes which are key to Wellville. And those 4 things are so more controlled by the lymph system than people realize, or I'll say impacted by the lymph system, in that the lymph system is 3/4 of interstitial fluid. Does have some water and lipid and stuff like that, but just consider it the lymph fluids, and those are 3/4 of interstitial fluid. So really big system. Everybody needs to get used to that system. And you know, when you say hi to someone, how's your lymph system today? You just never know. So that's the thing. You got to get that lymph moving, get these acids out of there, get up on a raw fruit, berry, and melon diet for a while. Regenerate the nervous system, of course. Move these acids out. The foot will repair. Vascular wall. I mean, if you damage your vascular system, the blood vessels are. It's easy to get new vascular pathways. Your blood system is easy, and it's not so easy, but you can get all new pathways too. Remember this this beautiful soul that is a lap guitarist. I've got your stuff around here somewhere, man. I've been showing people your picture here, but he's a lap guitarist. He sent a picture. Here we go. You see where he's plated up in the neck? He was standing under a roof and somebody fell on his head and broke his neck. So that's this young man. What a beautiful guitar. A guitar. Do I see a 12-string there anywhere, man? But same thing with him. And what's funny is when we're after to regenerate the body, we know, even from trauma, that acidosis is not our friend. Now, there's a lot of biochemists that live on the alkalosis side. I don't care. But acidosis or high-end alkalosis, either one, these are detrimental to tissue. So keeping a homeostasis of chemistry is important, but you have to eat it to respectively attain it in the future. And where we're involved in is nutrition and deficiencies and that whole ridiculous realm of trying to juggle the body's chemistry, not understanding the genetic weaknesses, the emotional and mental faculties, and the energy that's needed. You know, all the factors of the psychic of the individual. All the bodies of the individual journey, just everything about that. Everything is tied in to that. So, to keep it simple, going to a more fruitarian diet during detoxification at least is really key. I think a lot of you are visiting here realizing how bad we are with fruit here, really bad. But these are the type of diets that I personally have found are regenerative. You just can't regenerate on vegetable matter. It doesn't happen. And I'll say that as far as the oxalate side, all you people on greens would have kidney stones out the butt, wouldn't you, if that was the case? So this is the sort of thing. You get people that focus in on chemistry, and suddenly that food becomes bad for you, or that herb becomes bad for you, when they're just talking about an individual excipient or an individual a compound or element or whatever you're referring to. So when you have a spinal cord injury, and we have many right now, you really have to be totally raw, not even any cooked food at all. You need to be 100% raw. And this is also to you MS lady here. You've got to be 100% raw. You want to regenerate MS, you want to regenerate the cerebellum and any brain lesions and kick up the adrenals and regenerate myelin sheaths. You need all of that happening. You need the adrenals up so neurotransmitters are up so we can rebuild the myelin sheaths. We need to move lymph and remove what's breaking you down. Obvious, common sense. So we know acid side of chemistry is the predominant side that breaks people down, and the lymph system deals predominantly with that side of chemistry. So it becomes a no-brainer. And considering, like in an injury like this, it's the lymph system that has to remove the damaged tissue, take the cells to the lymph nodes for macrophage food, and at the same time, you know, regenerate that tissue. The problem in our world is that the bodies have become so acidic, the adrenals so low with the steroids and neurotransmitters, and blah, 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 parathyroid's down, low calcium utilization, that most people don't heal well. So to heal well and to regenerate, believe it or not, we have to be up to that high fruit and berry and melon level. I've had a lot of experience with neural cases. You've seen one on YouTube here, but all our MS cases are like her, and very rarely do we not get one. You know, I can't remember the last one that we weren't able to help. You know, if there was, it was someone that thought we should do it in a few months, and it didn't, and they left us, because it could take you up to a year easy, and some of the quads, it could take you more than that. We've been successful in most quads at getting neural regeneration before the year is up. We've been very successful with that. But with that said, I've always thought if it took 2 years, so what? You know, it sure is better than being down. That's for sure. And so this is to you, Guitar Man, too. Consider that high level of regeneration needed. Make sure your parathyroid is kicking up so you can regenerate the skeletal, the vertebrae and stuff. Get the acids out of these tissues. Detoxify yourself. And in that process of detoxification, of course, we're going after the glands and everything else that's also involved in regeneration. How slick is that? So this is real slick how we've made this up, isn't it? And it's easy for you guys. You guys don't feel like you need a ton of medical knowledge, because we're not involved in the medical world. Matter of fact, the least you know sometimes the better off you are. Don't get frustrated or intimidated. Worst thing is to be intimidated. You should never be intimidated by those that can't cure when you can cure. Just remember that. And you guys are very good at all this. And I apologize for all the ups and downs. And thank you, Monica, for this. Appreciate that on the perspective of that. Appreciate that. I understand that more now. Thank you. And I'm in agreement. I'm in agreement. Okay. Like I said, diets are individual, in my opinion, because once you've gone through this detoxification process, you're always going to maintain a high level of fruits, berries, and melons. Probably going to add some salads to your life. Some people definitely, most people add some cooked steamed vegetables and stuff like that. It's during this process, it's during the detoxification process, that strictness should be adhered, particularly with MS and broken necks and some of the more chronic problems. 100% raw food diet is essential. Cancers, 100% raw food diet is essential. That's just the way it is. If you're not fighting those, we give people 80% raw, 20% cooked. Particularly if it's something less than life-threatening things, like the different types of arthritises and fibromyalgia. Sometimes we don't kick them up all raw for a while. We give them a little cook just for their sanity. Remember, you're going to be working with people other than YouTubers. You're going to be working with people that don't have the raw food zest. And that's where you have to get your zest and translate that to them and say, try this. This is good. And don't judge them if they can't, because so. But help them to keep doing better. And each time you see your client, make them do better. Ask them if they please do better. When people come into me after the first appointment, they always ask me, now what can I add to my program? And I say, oh no. We're not going to add yet. We're going to take away even more. Because our job is to get them through it. It's easy for you to understand this, and if it's not, and where it's complex, I'll simplify it. Because that's what I do, is take the complex and make it simple. Because that's what we should all be doing, to help those that are not complex in their thinking to understand this stuff. Now, these are eyes from Jeff. So I'm going to show you these eyes here. These are blue eyes. No, just kidding. They're brown. So, Jeff, you've got a pretty good constitution, my friend. I'll tell you that. How old are you? If you're young, you got a foot up, my man. So we're going to take off. This is the left eye here. So let's do the left testicle. That is a bit of a genetic pass to you there. I don't know quite to the hip. There's a lot of inflammation and lymph stagnation in your left hip. A little weakness there. Groin probably. There's a reflection there showing me the upper femur, but underneath it looks a little dark. So could be upper femur, could be to the adrenal side. Adrenals somewhat subacute to chronic. You got some nerve rings in your eyes, which tends to put the adrenals more to the chronic side, in my opinion. Got pretty good balance considering. I mean, sometimes these lights vary the ability for me to be real accurate with this. Believe it or not, having the right pictures, but I think these pictures are pretty darn good. You guys are sending me some really good pictures. I'm real impressed. Pituitary and pineal, both. Pineal would be your insomnia, your restlessness, and your pituitary, of course, would be controlling everything. Hard for me to see some of these with a glare. Over here on the splenic flexure, you got some weaknesses. This left testicle is affecting the sigmoid flexure. But I'll tell you the truth, really great genes. And about mid-back thing going on left side. Little skin. But boy, I tell you, I love your genes. Got to clean your lymph system, no question. Your color of your eye is down below these rings, these nerve rings, so it's a lighter brown. Adrenals on the right side, a little more in the chronic levels, I think. Close to the upper femur. A lot of lymph in the right hip. Here we got a little pancreatic weakness going on there and a little gallbladder. So clean those up. Mid-back, much more involved on the right side. Much more involved. And a little higher. Maybe even the upper T's and mid-T's. A little bit involved there. Parathyroid. And that's a thing here. Well, I don't know. This looks outside of the small bowel. That could just be a pocket or impaction in the small bowel, but it's right there at the parathyroid and could have an electrical effect to the parathyroid, which would probably suppress it from just the bowel itself. Remember that. I mean, there's some thought you must realize that nutrition isn't even a factor in life. It isn't about nutrition at all. You have to realize there's a lot of people thinking that. It's all about energy, magnetics. Well, chemistry is nothing but frequencies of electromagnetic energy. So, there's a lot of thoughts at a lot of levels, So keeping it simple is by far the most important thing you should do. If you can keep it simple and then take in this other information, kind of build yourself a nice house with it so you can understand the simplicity, then you can add some complexity to help. But always keep that simple, or that complexity, the mind will pull you into it. And once the mind pulls you into it, you lost the now. And then you lost your spirituality. And so then you get caught up with confusion and isolation and all that implies, And so that's why keeping that in the now, keeping it simple is really important, because I can guarantee you that those that make it complex will come back and revisit the simple. And that's okay that you go out. That's what creation's all about. You go off, you enjoy the drama, and you'll be back. That's just the way it is. So, good eyes, good strong constitution, move those lymphs. This is a great eye to regenerate. Are you kidding? Trade your eyes, trade your bodies. Pretty good. Where's all this coming from? Demon Christmas, I'm loaded down. All right. Now, I hope that served you well. Now, this is from Tracy. Now, look at this. Can you guys tell me what's going on with Tracy? Do you see her ring here, and you see the black on the other side of the ring? Can you see that pretty good? So what do you think? Yeah, you're right on. Sweetheart Tracy, you're way too acidic. You're way too acidic. You're breaking down your gold and silver. You're way too acidic, and you'll see that. When you're way too acidic, you start losing the metal. Start breaking down your metals. No, we don't want that. I mean, that's what it looks like to me. Now, you could have broken your finger, and that could be a big bruise, but that looks like metal, breaking down metals there. Seen it a lot with people, with the dark rings, with the rings. Nothing ever good comes, and looks like you're swelling here on the knuckle here. But very acidic, dear. That's all I can tell you. And if you're not, and that's a bruise, then you need to heal. You need to move lymph. Very acidic means you need to do the same thing. Oh, wow, look how simple that is. See what I'm saying? And I know I sound like a broken record, and I know I sound like that, but, and if you guys have had enough videos, I'm okay with that, but it's always going to be this way. It will be. Now, I am going to bring some live people in here, and we'll do things, but I got to get people to come in and agree to do it. So as soon as someone does, we'll definitely film that, and you'll be happy to show you how we interact with people here. But with this, and I like these videos because for a practitioner, this gives you case, you know, to tell you the truth, and this is for you Facebook lovely souls, once you get this, you got it. All right, so you want to keep the butts as low as possible. Once you capture it, it's now just learning how to use the herbs appropriately in detoxification, how to have a detoxification process, and know about healing crisis. We just had one a few weeks ago, and a young man extremely, the only thing I'll give you as a diagnosis is MD, muscular dystrophy, although it's worse. This little lad is so white, and I forget, he's 10 or something, very bad. I thought he was going to pass here, real bad shape. Mother's been diligently pouring the herbs down him and everything else. They came down here in the winter, and I got to visit them. And I just didn't think there was any way this young man could live. I mean, it was definitely the Sankapoo and everything else. But, and he had a healing crisis where he couldn't breathe and everything, so it was to the hospital we must go. Even though Mom, Dad, no, 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 I said yes, yes, yes. But it was just a healing crisis. Now this lad is turning the corner after months and months and months. This lad is turning the corner, starting to sit up, starting to move, starting to move around. It's like, are you kidding me? Wait till you see this story. Woo! Tearjerker. That'll be incredible. That'll even surprise me. That will literally even surprise me. And he's turning around already. I just am literally amazed. You know, so that's why these new formulas, this new cellular rejuvenator or regenerator, I'm telling you, I got the sumas, the fotees, the ginsengs, of course, and the antlers, and you know, the kelps and alfalfas. This is going to be a power hog to help cells rebuild themselves. So two things we must do: we must clean and strengthen, clean and strengthen, clean and strengthen. Two simple words means a whole lot on each one of them. And during the cleaning process, the strengthening process takes place. Isn't that cool? So I have to come off here in a minute here, but to me, this is you're losing your metals in your rings, and way too acidic, dear one. Tracy, you got to get your body detox and get this high acidosis out of here before you start popping some cells that are not real friendly anymore. This is Monica. Honey, I have addressed you on the last video, addressed in previous video. This was, she did a 21-day water fast, broke it with hummus. And she broke it she ate only 3 tablespoons of hummus, and her body revolted, extremely revolted. She had swelling all over the place. They had to use compression stockings. See how vital, see how powerful these things are, how powerful foods are, vibrationally speaking. And with hummus, most people eat garbanzo beans, you know, chickpeas. I don't like that. I don't like any of those grains and beans. But, you know, look what happened to her. That's the thing. When you get up there, my butt been kicked an awful lot, because to come down off the fruitarian level, that hurt. That literally hurt a lot. But, you know what, it just had to be for my balance, or I would be a lot like some of the other ones way out there, and that wouldn't serve us well. How do we heal people if we're way out of balance? How do we help others? It doesn't do us or God or anything well when we get way out of balance, see? So I hope you just got to kick up the detox now and get back to the fruitarian thing, and get all that edema, get all that energy out of you, and go back to what your body really likes. See what your body really likes? Something as simple as hummus, wham! You know, no. You'll all see what I'm saying as you go along here, and then you'll see why I say these things, and I'm not just saying them to be, you know, different. This is Tanya. Hi, sweetheart. Appreciate your kind words. I love you all, and I know we're not perfect here, but we try hard. That's all I can tell you. I'm not perfect. I'll rattle on here once in a while, definitely. When you're doing 800 and almost 800 videos here, you have a tendency to rattle on a little bit. I did that. I did radio shows for several years, and I just stuck all my clients on there. I'd really love to take these. These are all CDs, though. Look, little old CDs. And I have stacks of them from shows, and I just stuck all my clients on there. The quad, I stuck everybody there. Tell your story. And so I got a lot of case studies on CDs. We want to put the DVDs that we have for news media and stuff like that to show you what we've been through the last few years. I have dealt with eating disorders for years. I've had stomach issues a lot, and esophagus and stomach are eroded. Now, we're seeing a lot of this. We're seeing the gastroparesis, which is the paralysis of the stomach. We're seeing the swelling of the esophaguses, the lumps in the esophagus. Remember that our friend with the lump. We're seeing a lot of the gastric sphincters weakening. We're seeing hiatal hernias. We're seeing all these things that show us interstitial lymphatic constipation. That the lymph system, when it backs up, it's systemically backed up. It backs up in the gut wall, backs up in the esophagus, esophageal wall, backs up in the brain, neck, all over. Because it's a systemic issue here. And that's important to understand. So that's what this suggests, is that you're interstitially impacted or constipated there lymphatically, which is setting up big acidosis, which is, and as I had a young man in here yesterday, Crohn's. Well, 16 years old. Guy owns his own company at 16 years old. Smart dude, smart dude. Mom's sitting over there kind of freaking out with herbs and stuff. Are they safe and everything else? And this guy is sharp, getting it. Boom, boom, boom. And this kid is really smart. Going to go a long way, man. But this sort of thing, same thing with him. You've got lymphs backed up in the wall. This is acidosis, and this is a burn from the inside out. Bad burn. These aren't hydrochloric acid burns. These are burns, lymphatic burns. These are cellular acids. Not as hot as hydrochloric acid, that's for sure, but certainly hot. 10 times more alkaline, can I say that? But still very acidic. 3 pH. Hydrochloric acid is around 2. I tried to eat solids like fruit and have not even tried a salad for about 10 months because it sits in my stomach and then I get really nauseated and stomach pains and then can't keep it from coming up and some hours later. I have resorted to juicing veggies, herbs, and fruits. I want to eat watermelon but can't, and I so juice but got really bad stomach pains and all the way up the esophagus. Do organic and got grapes the other day and loved it and went to do more but expensive. Wanted to know what you do and also the herbs to take. I cannot afford maybe more than 1 or 2. Whoo, crap, Tanya, that's tough. When you have this bad of a problem and you can only afford 1 or 2 herbs, boy, that's tough. So I'd suggest you go to the Heal All Tea is one of them. You can drink that, you can encapsulate it, you can eat it. I don't care how you get it down. The tea is going to coat and soothe at least the mucosa. That'll have a little bit of absorption into the interstitial levels, so slowly this will come in and heal and pull this out. Slowly, but faster than you probably think. But I would do that. I would find those foods which you can tolerate. If you can tolerate the grapes, live on them. Literally live on them. And I would do real small meals. Matter of fact, apples too. Golden Delicious particularly. Or Red Delicious. And you just want to eat a very little bit. Or make yourself some applesauce. Small bits. More often. Little small bits. Don't put much down there. Let what's down there relax. Same with taking herbs. Take small amounts with your foods. Don't take herbs separate. Take them with your foods. And this is important for you guys on Facebook because you're seeing a lot more. And remember early on I said this? You're going to see a lot more of this. And this is just what we're seeing. So bad that some people, and I said this before, can't even drink water. We have them come in here, can't even drink water anymore. Freaked out, high anxiety, because they can't put anything down. So So this is real important stuff, because these are all precursors to all the cancers and everything else, and these people are being eaten up by their own acids. So gentle as we go. Cool off that wall with the Heal All tea. At the same time, we're putting down the fruit to help pull, to clean, to strengthen. And as we're healing, cleaning, healing, cleaning, we start working those walls. We start working that mucosa. We start moving in interstitially. We start opening up those kidneys. We start moving that lymph right out of the body. Pretty soon, oh, look, I can eat now. And that's exactly the only way you can work these people out of these problems. It's the only way I know of. You could use fresh aloe. Take a little 2 ounce and get some fresh aloe. Everybody should have aloe growing all around their house. And if you can't grow it in the winter, stick it inside. But I have aloe everywhere. I love that plant. But it's particularly in consumption. You can buy aloe juice, but buy nothing but the best. But I suggest get the plant and have raw aloe in that way. And get that. The stomach and bowel formulas will help you, because they're this slippery elm marshmallow. And you might have to buy marshmallow root by itself. It's in the Heal All tea. It's in the stomach and bowel formula. Why? It's an anti-inflammatory. It's extremely soothing and healing to the mucosa. Research marshmallow root. Same thing with slippery elm. See, our remedy is in the herbs. I'm telling you, when you start, I get hyped up when I do these formulas. It comes into me. It's like nobody's business, and I'm on for 2 weeks. I'm awake all the time. I'm hopped up. I'm going. Information's coming in. I've got all my resource books. I just want to, some validification, and then at the same time, I have to listen. I have to feel. I have to make sure the herbs are happy. But I can tell you that. I don't know where I was going with that. There's another one of those rattle-ons. I was going to go somewhere with that. But you have to be real, whatever you can tolerate it, and keep going, keep going. Little apple soothes. Antacid, great for acid reflux. But to me, this isn't an acid reflux. This is so much more serious than an acid reflux. You might also want to take the pancreatic capsules. So you had 2 formulas. You really put me down hard here. Really tough to deal with this, because you've got serious problem here. Got to get the kidneys. You got to get the adrenals. You got to get in the GI tract, obviously. So I don't know what to tell you about 2 formulas. One would be a Heal All tea. The other one, geez, I don't know. You could do, or you could do Heal All capsules. One of the 2, Heal All capsules, and maybe stomach. Come on in. Okay, I'm winding down.
Why are you going to make this sad face like I'm a bully or something?
She's a bully! I'm grinding down. Just in person or by phone?
Phone. She's calling back in like 5 to 10.
Okay. I'll close it up. Thank you. See what I have to put up with there? So I apologize, I can't go on here too much, Tanya, but that's what you have to do to find yourself remedy here. Gosh, there's so many great questions. I'm going to come in tomorrow and shoot about 2 hours here so we can catch up on some of these, and I hope that you still like our videos and appreciate them, and we do love the fact that you guys are taking this on and healing people, because it sure brings a journey that we're on to a final. Because we've known that man's needed to change his consciousness on this planet, or it almost looks like it's going to implode with so much of what's going on. So thank you all so much. I appreciate the fact that you're taking this journey on, and that you're helping others and helping yourself, and getting yourselves well, getting yourselves spiritualized, getting yourself happy, getting your joy back. This is all part of life, and having fun. So thank you. Sorry for all the controversies that come up. They're going to come up once in a while, but listen, we keep on moving down these cases. It's all about cases. When you're a practitioner, it's one case after another case. We know how to detox. You know all that, and I'm helping you learn and dig deep in that. But it's about the cases, and what do you do with these individual cases? So these, to me, are very important. I know some of you probably, okay, now let's get on with this, but really, the cases are everything. This is more geared to practitioners now. Most information's in the front of the videos for everyone, but this is taking you deeper into this world, and what do you do in these cases where people can't even drink water? How do you work that? Thank God we have the herbs. People can tolerate the herbs before they can tolerate the fruits and the vegetables and all the other foods sometimes. Remembering that the herbs are full of nutrition is good too. So how cool is that? That the herbs the body can accept those before they can accept most foods. I love that. So no one should ever fear the use of herbs. Learn about them. Have fun with them. It's just a lot of fun. So we'll see. Fortunately, I have to run. I hope this helps some of you. And I know there's a lot of you waiting to get your questions answered. Hang in there. Tomorrow I'm going to do 2 hours. Thank you so much for spending your precious time and learning. I think you'll appreciate it. It'll be rewarding to you, and hopefully it'll give you a rewarding occupation, which is just incredible when you help a whole planet get well. I think that's exciting. So we'll see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.